This video is going to simulate a DDoS attack to demonstrate how anonymous hacker group perform DDoS and learn about the common tools they used. The tool used for this lab simulation is TorsHammer and SlowLoris. So for the lab setup, we need to have two virtual machines for this lab simulation. The target machine is a Metasploit virtual machine. The attacker virtual machine is the pre-installed INCS 745 student lab machine. We will use the Wireshark for packet analyze and then also observe the behavior of the Metasploit web server to learn about how those two tools, TorsHammer and SlowLoris, work with DDoS, and what is the difference between those two different tools. So first of all, let's do a brief introduction about what those tools do. So for TorsHammer, it sends out slow and large HTTP post requests to consume server resources, which will cause a gradual increase in the CPU and memory usage. For the slow loris will open multiple incomplete HTTP connections to exhaust the server's connection limits by sending small and partial headers to keep each connection open. So now we have some basic knowledge about what does those two tools do. We can now start doing the lab. We need to first make sure that we have the TorsHammer and SlowLoris installed on the attacker machine. Uh, so let's see here. We have the TorsHammer installed on the attacker's machine. This one is a Python script which we downloaded from GitHub and it can be used right now. We don't have to do any extra configuration. For the SlowLoris, it has a matching modules in the Metasploit console. So we do not need to do any extra configuration as well. We can just using the available modules for that. Let's first start using the TorsHammer to launch the DDoS attack. First, we need to use this command here to launch this attack. We need to first cd into the directory of the TorsHammer. Okay, we can use this command showing here to launch the DDoS attack. But before we actually run the command, we need to make sure that we can observe the traffic and also the result of this attack. We want to access this web server, which is the Metasploit 2 web server. Once we launch attack, we are expecting to see some interactions of the normal function of this web server. Also here, we can go to the target machine. We need to log into the target machine as well. We are just using the default credential. Okay, let's make sure we know the IP address of the target machine. Okay, here we can see the target machine has the IP address 10.0.12.6. Before we launch the attack, we also want to open Wireshark because we want to observe the traffic for packet analyze. Let's open Wireshark first. Because here we know the IP address of this target machine, we can filter the traffic. We can filter the IP address to the one we want, which is 10.0.12.6. Okay. We can also use a command called top. This is used to observe like the CPU and the memory usage on the target machine. Once we run this command, we'll be able to see some of the CPU usage and memory usage. We can start running this command now. We can see the CPU usage and memory usage is kind of low. And let's start a Wireshark as well. Wireshark is start. We do not have any traffic right now because we didn't send anything. Okay, we only have couple traffic, but I think it's not okay. The filter is update, so we do not have any traffic right now because we didn't send any traffic to the target machine. So let's run this TorsHammer command. Once we run this command, we see we got a bunch of traffic here. We first go to the target machine to observe the CPU usage. We can see that it's increased from 1.6 to 4.2. And it's up, it's going down a little bit and it's going up again. Okay, we can go back to this web server to see if this web server is still working. We can try to refresh, and we notice that we are not able to refresh this web server because we see this small timer here. We can also click some of those links. The link is still working, but we can try for more links. We notice that those links are not working. We couldn't get into the link. Let's try something else. Okay, it's also not working. Seems like this web page is frozen right now, which means that the DDoS attack is working. Let's go back to the Wireshark to see if we got enough traffic. Okay, seems like we do have enough traffic here. And let's go back to a target machine. We can wait a little bit to see if the CPU usage is changing. We see it's 2.9 right now. It's still higher than the 1.6 from the very beginning. It's going down and it's going up again. It's 3.0. It's 3.0. Okay, I think we are good for now. We can just stop this DDoS attack and then take a deep looking into our traffic. Stop. Once we stop this DDoS, we can go back to the target machine to see the CPU usage will start to decrease. We see it's 0.7 right now, and then it's back to 1.6. Okay. Once we stop the DDoS, we can go back to this web server to see if it's working. We see this frozen page is refreshed. We can double check that by going back to the main page and then just randomly click something and then it's working fine. And then we can click something else and it's working fine. Okay, now we have the web server working normally. Let's take a look of this traffic we observed from using the TorsHammer to perform the DDoS. We see a bunch of TCP traffic here. Those are all push and sync, push and sync, push and sync. We can scroll up a little bit. We see a lot of them. We see a lot of them. We're trying to figure out if we can find the sync message because we want to know if those are complete TCP connections or not. We see sync ACK here, which means those are completed TCP connections. We can see that uh, for each of those complete TCP connections, it's very large and it's very long, and it contains like a four request and response exchange. And those connections, they will consume like more packets to complete each HTTP post request because they are like they last longer and they are like really large. Um, Now we can try to use the other tool, which is the SlowLoris. We can stop this CPU monitoring for now. Okay, let's go back to terminal. For the uh, for the SlowLoris, as we mentioned before, it has a matching modular in the Metasploit, so we don't have to install anything. We can just go to the MSF console. We are starting the Metasploit right now. Okay, we get into the Metasploit terminal right now. We can just like search for the SlowLoris to see if we can find any modular. Yes, here we are. We found one of the modular that we can use for this DDoS attack. Um, we need to set up options for this modular so we can do like show options to see if there's anything we need to set up. Okay, we need to first, I forgot to select the modular. Let's do this again. Okay, let's set 0. Set 0. Show options. Okay, it's still not working. So I think it's use 0. Okay, we get into the module right now. Now we can do show options. Here is the bunch of options that uh, put we should put in to be able to run this attack. We see most of them are configured where we are attacking the web server, so HTTP, so it's port 80. We don't have to change that, but we need to set the our host, which is the remote host. So we can do like set our host to the IP address of the Metasploit web server, which is 10.0.12.6. Okay, once we set this our host, we can run this attack by just type run. Before we run the attack, we want to start a new Wireshark monitoring. We start a new one, and then we also want to start this pop command to monitor the CPU usage. Okay, we can see the CPU usage is 2.0 right now. We can wait a little bit. Okay, it's 1.6. It's kind of low. We want to see if this number is getting high once we launch attack. Let's make sure this website is still working. Alright, still working. Now we can run this attack. Now we run this DDoS attack. It's showing us it's creating soaks. We need to wait a little bit because I think this one is a little bit slower than the TorsHammer's. Okay, it's creating more soaks. Here's the number of soaks. Now we are taking a look at the CPU usage. Seems like it's still not that high. Seems like it's pretty much the same as we um, before doing the attack. It's kind of similar. Um, we can tell from this SlowLoris DDoS attack, it doesn't consume that much of CPU usage as the TorsHammer, because that one it consumes more CPU usage up to like 4 point something. Okay, now we have like more of those stock accounts generated here. We can go to the Wireshark. Okay, I think that's not right. I think we already have a Wireshark open. We can just close this one and then go to the open one. Okay, here we have, that's the previous one. Okay, this is the new one. Here we have like a bunch of traffic we can find. Let me just go down. Okay, those are like all the HTTP connections here. We can see those are a bunch of HTTP connections here, and I think most of them are like HTTP GET requests. We can also track the CPU usage again, and it's still very low. So let's go back to check this web server to see if it's stopped working, to see what is happening with this web server. Let's just randomly click something. We see it's frozen. We are not able to click any of those links, and we can also not refresh it, which means this attack is working. Now we can stop this attack. Okay, once we stop the attack, we can go back to Wireshark to take a look of the traffic. Okay, that one is the previous one. This is the one that we want to take a look of. Okay. Okay, so we see a bunch of the HTTP GET requests. Yeah, those are, most of them are like HTTP GET requests. Also see uh, the REST message here. Okay. So from this output, we notice that like there are a lot of incomplete HTTP connections, and we only see like a few completed requests. Those connections, they appears to be like half open and incomplete, and like the header, they also have like intermittent header, like partial header, um, and they lack of a response packet, like for most of them, for most of the HTTP requests, they don't have like a response packet. Only a few of them have. So I think this is one of the big difference